Welcome back to Galdem 4, and here at the city known as the Founding Land, once protected by the forces of Kitrin, now an empty city, a desolate city. The only signs of life are the faint screams that echo throughout the buildings. Here, the Black Templars are here to reclaim order. They are here to push back any heretics that they can find, but who are going to be found among the city ruins? Let's find out. Right, so here we are, my 2,000 points of World Eaters. So in this we have a battalion and we have a outrider detachment as well. So let's start over here with the battalion element of the army. So over here we have got, of course, Khan the Betrayer will be appearing here. There we go. We've got 3 squads of World Eaters. We've got 1 squad back here of 6 with a power sword on the champion. Got a squad of 5 here with a power sword on the champion. Another squad of 5. This guy's got 2 lightning claws. There. We have got the Hellbrute at the back there with a plasma cannon. Moving along, we have got a warp smith there, just standard, no upgrades at all. We have got 3 defilers, 2 of which are stock, so no upgrades at all. This one over here has got the coils there. Moving over, we've got the outrider detachment, so we've got 3 squads of bikes. Each squad here, we've got a lightning claw on this bike squad here. We have got a plasma gun on that one there and a power fist. Swap this over slightly. There we go. We've got 1 melter gun in this squad. Champion's got no upgrade. And of course we've got 1 squad there. So that's 3 squads, 2 with melter guns and 1 with a plasma gun. And that is my 2,000 points of World Eaters. And let's have a look to see what Tom is bringing with his Black Templars.
This is Tom, and this is my 2,000 points of Black Templars, which will be a battalion detachment, chosen obviously for the new 8th rules. So going through each of the slots here, we have 2 HQs. We have Grimoldus here, and we have Emperor's Champion. We have 3 troop choices, which is basically 3 Crusader squads. They are loaded out slightly differently. So we have a 20-man one here, which has got 10 neophytes. We also have the Sword Brother with a power sword, and we also have a power axe and a melter gun in there. Likewise, to the left here, we have exactly the same squad apart from 5 less neophytes, so that's obviously got the power sword, melter gun and power axe. At the front here, we have the final Crusader squad, which has got the bolters in there and is packing a plasma gun and a plasma cannon, and the Sword Brother has a pair of lightning claws. At the back here, we have a Land Raider Crusader, who will probably be transporting this 16-man squad when I add Grimoldus to it. And then over here to the left, we have our Hellblaster squad, which I just added to this today, along with an Apothecary on a bike. And then over here, up on the platform, we are having a Templar Dreadnought with a Keras Assault Cannon and 2 Storm Ravens, one armed with twin las cannons and also the Typhoon missile launcher. So that is my 2,000 points of Black Templars, and now we'll see how they go.
So here we are, the battle lines have been drawn. The Black Templars are now facing off against the raging horde of World Eaters. We have got the Black Templars deployed over here. We've got Crusader squads in this building. We've got a Contemptor Dreadnought there. And we've got another Crusader squad here. Over on the far right here, we've got the Storm Talons deployed here, which is a bit different now in 8th, that your flyers are on straight away, which could be interesting to see how this goes. Across from them, we have a line of World Eaters there, all kind of getting ready for the charge. Down here we have got a Crusader squad here. We've got, I believe it's Hellbrick in there. We have got his 5 new plasma guys here. And finally over here we've got a Storm Talon facing off against this quite a weak flank at the moment. So let's have a look to see what the World Eaters have got over there. So over here on this flank we have got 2 squads of bikes and a biker lord at the back there. We have got a squad of 5 berserkers with Khan on this flank, facing over there. We've got a lot of Crusader squads dug into those buildings. We'll see if they push forwards. Over here we've got 5 Berserkers. We've got a Defiler. We've got 5 more Berserkers down there. We have got 2 Defilers with a Warpsmith here. Moving out, we've got a bit of a gap in the lines, and finally on this flank over here we have got the Hellbrute and 3 more bikes here. So the mission is pretty much a meat grinder here. It's down to kill points. Currently the Templars will be going first as they finish deployment first with the fewer models, and we will see if the World Eaters are able to seize momentarily. Right, so here we are. We're going to see if the World Eaters can seize, otherwise we're moving on to Templars turn 1. So here we go. No, it's a free. So over to Black Templars turn 1. Turn 1 movement for the Black Templars, and pretty much it was a push across the battle line here. Everyone has moved forward. Some advanced over here. The Hellblasters there are positioned themselves behind this tower. The Lamb Raider there's pushed up forwards, and all the Crusaders along here with the Contemptor and the Apothecary are all pushing up as one. Over here we've got one of the Storm Talons here, eyeing up some targets. The other Storm Talon is over here, and also lining up some shots there. So the Templars are starting off aggressive as predicted. Let's see what they can do in the shooting phase. Turn 1 shooting for the Black Templars, and over here this Storm Talon fired volleys of fire down onto the Defiler there and did nothing. He fired his assault cannon though into the Hellbrute there, causing 1 wound and no ill effects there. Moving across the battlefield here, we had the Lamb Raider firing everything it had into this Defiler, knocking it down by 1 wound. And thanks to the regeneration of the Demon Engines, it will be regaining that wound back in a moment. Across here, once again, same story here with the Storm Talon here, firing into Defilers, trying to isolate these threats before they get too close to the Templar ranks. Very good idea. Over here we had some bolter fire coming in down there, knocking out one of the Chaos Marines, and that was pretty much it. Oh no, we had the Contemptor here firing its assault cannon across into this squad, taking 3 of them out. They've held their ground and they are going to push forwards and avenge their fallen brothers. Blood for the Blood God. So I'm going to move on to turn 1 for the World Eaters and see if they can get some bloody revenge on the Templars. Turn 1 movement for the World Eaters, and they charge forwards. They couldn't hold back anymore. The nails are kicking in and they are pushing forward towards the Templars here. The Templars are holding firm and they're getting ready for a charge. So over here, all the bikes push forward. These guys have done their turbo boost and advanced up. Advanced, advanced. The Defilers haven't advanced. They have just gone steadily forwards. Same here. Warpsmith just tagging along at the back there. Over on this flank, the Hellbrute is pushing up to try and get some shots in against the smaller plasma guns. The Hellblasters may encounter problems. And over here, just down there, the bike's also creeping up there, and we'll see what the World Eaters can do if they can focus well enough to aim. So moving on to turn 1 shooting for the World Eaters. Turn 1 shooting for the World Eaters. Over here, the bikes and the Hellbrute fired into the Hellblasters. The Hellbrute took out one of the Hellblasters, one of a plasma cannon shot. Over here, the Defiler fired into the Land Raider, causing, I think, 1 hull point with the Heavy Flamer. So that was quite nice. Over here as well, we had a bit of sporadic fire with both Defilers firing into the main squad and into the Contemptor and doing killing 1 neophyte, and that was it. Also over here, these bikes fired in as well into that squad, and they did nothing, unfortunately. So, as all good Khorne generals know, it's not in shooting, it's in combat where you win the battle. So let's move on to turn 1 assault. Turn 1 assault for the World Eaters, and the Defiler here charged into combat, killing off 2 of the neophytes and taking 2 hull points, 2 wounds, sorry, itself there. Bit of self-addition coming through there. So holding ground, Over here, this Defiler also charged in, but kind of fluffed all his attacks, unfortunately, against that Land Raider, and only caused 1 wound to the Land Raider. So that was that. We did attempt a couple of charges. For instance, down here, the bikes also attempted to charge in, and nothing, although they did suffer 1 wound to Overwatch on that biker there. This Defiler failed its charge as well. Moving across the battlefield, the bikers down here also attempted to charge against the Hellblasters there and took 1 wound for Overwatch but failed. So, unfortunately, not too great. Let's move on to turn 2 for the Templars. Turn 2 movement for the Black Templars. This Crusader squad here are pushing up with the Emperor's Champion here to face off against the bikes and the Berserkers. The Contemptor here is rolling forwards to try and fend off the other Defiler before it gets into combat with the Marines. Over here, the Storm Talon has come across here, soaring over to fire some shots onto the Defiler here. Moving across, we have got the Apothecary came over, and he worked his magic onto the Hellblasters there, bringing the downed Hellblaster back into the battle. These guys have repositioned, and the Land Raiders pushed back to face off against this threat here. Also, we've got a Storm Talon there that is just coming around behind the Defiler. So, let's have a look to see what the Templars are able to do in their turn 2 shooting against the World Eaters. Turn 2 shooting for the Black Templars. This Crusader squad, the Emperor's Champion here, fired everything they had into the biker squad, killing off 2 of the bikers, leaving the champion there. Moving across here, the Contemptor fired everything he had. He fired the assault cannon and the bolter into the Defiler, causing a couple of wounds on here, so he's gone down to 11. He also suffered fire from this squad because of the new rules here that the pistols can fire into something else. Storm Talon here fired also into Defiler, but wasn't able to do any damage there. Moving across the battlefield, we had the Storm Talon here firing down. 1 shot with the las cannon into the Hellbrute, didn't do anything, and the assault cannon here popped off 2 of the bikers, leaving just 1 there. And finally, the only other shooting here was a devastating salvo from the Hellblasters there. They fired their shots into the Defiler, knocking out, I think, 8 wounds in total, but 2 of the Hellblasters did die as well from the overcharge. So, that is it. We're going to move on to Assault. I'm sure the Templars are going to launch themselves into a bloody melee now. So, moving on to turn 2, Assault for the Templars. Turn 2 assault for the Templars. So the squad here charged into the other bike squad here, causing 1 wound onto the Chaos Biker there. Although the Chaos Bikers, 3 of them here, not including Lord. Lord is not in combat, but these 3 attack back, killing off 4 in total of the Templars. They held their ground. Over here, the Emperor's Champion charged into a Defiler and did nothing. I don't think he did anything, but he suffered 3 wounds back. Over here, the fight continues. A couple of hit points were taken by the Defiler, but basically it's holding its own there, so it's doing very well. Moving over to the centre, we have another fight here. We had the Apothecary and the Hellblasters charging into this Defiler. They did nothing, unfortunately, to the Defiler, but the Defiler killed off the Apothecary, so we've got 1 kill point there, as well as first blood, which is very nice. And I think that was it for combat, so not much happened, unfortunately. Lots of Templars have engaged across the battle. They still have Hellbrick at the back here with the Crusaders in the Land Raider. So let's move on to turn 2 for the World Eaters and see if they can get some more troops into combat. Turn 2 movement for the World Eaters. Chaos Lord here has just kind of come round to try a more optimised assault in there. 2 squads of Berserkers with Khan are coming through this flank here. They're hoping to engage in the centre in some form. This biker's also come around here. And moving across the battlefield, we have got the Warpsmith down here. He's pushing up towards the centre, trying to support the Defilers if he can get close enough. The Hellbrute here is moving up, as well as the Biker champion around there. So we will see what they can do in turn 2 shooting for the World Eaters. Turn 2 shooting for the World Eaters, and the only thing actually to report was this Warpsmith here fired his melter gun, bolt pistol and flamer into there, causing 4 wounds on the Storm Talon there. So that is it. The rest of my shooting, I've got pistols all over the place, but I decided not to shoot them into the crowds because I'm sure Tom will remove them closest to my charges. So we are going to go in to assault now, and hopefully we will cut these Templars apart.
Double one.
Turn to assault for the World Eaters, and here the bike charged in, wasn't able to do anything here but did suffer a wound from the counter attack that came in. Defiler once again hit and did only 1 wound for the Marine there. Didn't take any damage. Moving across though, a completely different story. This squad has been dramatically reduced. How many were lost? That is quite a few there. I think that's about 15, about 15 Templars have fallen, to 1 World Eater died there. The Contemptor was also charged by this squad of World Eaters, taking it down now to 2 wounds. Contemptor did a bit more damage onto this Defiler, reducing it down to 3 wounds there. Stalemate over here as the fight continues. Neither party were able to do anything. Actually, I think the Emperor's Champion did a couple more wounds, so he's down to 9 now, that Defiler. Over here as well, the Lord charging in, decimated 4 Marines when he charged in. The Marines attacked back, killed off 1 of the Bikers, but they're still holding strong there. So it's definitely gone into the World Eaters' favour, although we have still got a Templar squad back here. I said earlier it was Hellbrick. In fact, it's Grimoldus, the saviour of Hades' Hive. Not Hades' Hive, that's Yarrick.
Hell's Reach.
Hell's Reach, yes, that is him. I know my fluff, honestly. So we're moving on to turn 3 for the Templars now, and see if they can push back the tide of gore. Turn 3 movement for the Black Templars, and Grimoldus and his retinue have now deployed from the Land Raider and eyeing up some targets as the Defilers are just rampaging through at the moment. This squad have pushed back to get out of combat, possibly to aid the melter gun and the supporting fire here from the Land Raider. We will see. Over across the rest of the battlefield, this lot are all still engaged in a bloody melee as bodies are piling up on both sides. Both the Storm Talons there and there have gone into the hover mode and pushed back to hopefully just to get the World Eaters in a bit of a crossfire and hit their rear line. So let's move on now to turn 3 shooting to see what the Templars are capable of. Turn 3 shooting for the Black Templars, and unfortunately it did not go well for them. Had a melter gun and a plasma gun here from Grimoldus, fired into this Defiler and did nothing to it at all. A lot of bolt pistols, fired then into this Defiler, which is still locked in combat, and reduced it down to 1 wound, very close to destroying it, but unable to finish it off, unfortunately. Even a bolt pistol there fired in and didn't do anything. So moving across, the only other thing that really happened in here, this melee in the middle is such a big part of this battle at the moment. It's really holding everything down. We had the 2 Storm Talons here. This one here fired everything it had into the Berserker squad that was there, wiping them off the battlefield, giving the Templars a kill point. And over here, this one fired into that Defiler and unfortunately wasn't able to do anything there. So we're going to move on to assault and see if the Templars can bring it round with that mass assault in the centre. Turn 3 assault for the Templars, and it has got horribly bloody and it's not gone in the favour of the Templars, unfortunately. Over here the combat continued. The Lord lost 1 wound before slicing apart the 2 remaining Marines. Over here, the Contemptor Dreadnought took out the final hull point of the Defiler, destroying it, although it was then swiftly butchered by the Berserkers there, taking off the last wound off of the Contemptor. This squad of Berserkers killed off the remaining couple of Marines and have freed themselves up. Over here the fight continues, although the Defiler has taken more wounds from the champion, still unable to take the champion out. Possibly the champion is too swift for the lumbering Defiler. Moving across the battle, of course Grimoldus' squad were charged forwards, leaving Grimoldus back here with his bubble to assist these Marines, and they did some more damage onto this Defiler, now leaving it on just 2 wounds. So they've taken a lot of damage, these Defilers, but slowly now they are coming out of action, they are falling to the ground. So we're going to move on now to turn 3 for the World Eaters to see if they are able to engage this last big squad of Templars. Turn 3 for the World Eaters, and in the movement phase here we have pushed back, we have gone back towards the Storm Talons, which are hovering in the rear field, putting a lot of firepower onto units and being a real pain, as I'm sure Tom planned them to be. Over here we also have the Warpsmith. He's got into a base contact there with that Defiler, so hopefully we can assist him somewhat. Across the battlefield still, we've got Khan. He has advanced as well as moved. He's pushing up towards a conflict, hoping there's still going to be some Templars there to engage in combat, as these Berserkers are now pushing up towards that Templar squad. We have a biker champion going for Grimoldus, and over on that flank there we have got the Hellbrute, and you have a biker going against the Hellblasters there. So we will see what happens. It's going to be an interesting turn. Let's move into shooting. Also, just to mention, this Warpsmith has attempted to repair that Defiler. So it was down to 2 originally, but because of demonic regeneration he regained 1 hull point, and we repaired 1 more, so he's back onto 4 hull points. So these things have been really nice this game. I think the demonic engines are very resilient. So that one's also regained 1 wound. So let's move on to shooting. Turn 3 shooting for the World Eaters, and the squad of bikers fired what it had into this Storm Talon here, taking it down to 4 wounds with a lucky melter gunshot. They do a lot of damage on there. Elsewhere, there isn't really much else to report. A lot of bolt pistols got fired off, killed a couple of the Crusaders round here from this squad here, and that was pretty much it. Everything else was either hit and didn't wound, so not great. We're going to move on now into Assault to see if the World Eaters can get into the Storm Talon here and then engage other units. Turn 3 Assault for Chaos. The World Eater Hellbrute here charged in. He took 1 of the Hellblasters out there, although he did suffer 2 wounds in return. He's holding in there. Over here, this combat continues. The Defiler is somehow holding on. He's down to 1 wound now. He's killed a couple of Marines off, but they are holding ground still. Over here, this fight continues. I was expecting the champion to get butchered by Grimoldus. He got charged in. He did 1 wounding hit, and Grimoldus passed with his Rosius, and he hit back, and the champion survived. That was pretty handy. Moving across here, the champion, Emperor's champion, has finally fallen. He got sliced apart by the Defiler. Defilers then stomped off back towards the Storm Talons there, being the closest units to engage them. And finally over here, we did 1 more wound with the bikers when they charged into the Storm Talon. The Storm Talon fought back, ramming it and weaving it and whatever a Storm Talon does, but wasn't able to do anything. So the score has increased somewhat for the World Eaters in turn. We're going to move on now to turn 4 for the Black Templars to see if they can even the playing field a little bit. Turn 4 movement for the Templars, and the Hellblasters here. They've fallen back out of combat, Give themselves a little bit of distance and breathing space. Land Raider here is just going to span around a little bit to eye up some targets. Both the Storm Talons have gone back into flight mode now. One is up here, surveying the battlefield, possibly a Hellbrute. And this one here is going to spun around as well. I'm guessing they're going to try and engage these two units and wipe them out, but we're going to see what the Templars are going to do here. It's going to be nasty stuff. I think a few World Eaters might get minced. So let's move on to turn 4 shooting. Turn 4 shooting for the Black Templars, and these guys down here needed air support desperately. They called in the Storm Talon. Storm Talon answered, came in and lit the Hellbrute up, destroying it, sending wreckage everywhere. This here, Land Raider here, fired everything it had. As long as the other Storm Talon supported it, it was able to wipe out these Berserkers as seen here. And that was pretty much it for the shooting. There's not many unengaged units at the moment. So we're going to move on to turn 4 assault and see what happens now. Right, so in turn 4 assault here, this squad managed to take out the last wound on the Defiler, sending debris to the ground and then consolidating their efforts towards that Chaos Biker there, who inflicted 2 wounds onto Grimoldus there. Grimoldus unable to hit back, but that was it for turn 4 assault. We're going to move on now to the World Eaters to see if they can get a little bit closer to the remaining Templars. Turn 4 movement for the World Eaters, and yes, Khan is getting very close now. It's taken all game, but he's getting closer, this squad here. Also, we've got the Warpsmith that's now been freed up, and he is looming behind the Crusader squad there. The Chaos Lord on a bike is also zooming in now. It's all to play for. The main Templar force is centered around here. We've got a few Storm Talons kind of hovering around here, which the bikes and Defilers and possibly these Berserkers are going to be dealing with. So let's move on to shooting to see if these World Eaters can do more damage to the Templars. Turn 4 shooting for the World Eaters, and we had some pretty good luck here as the Blood God favours the bold. The Warpsmith here fired his flamer, melter gun and bolt pistol straight into the Primaris Marines, killing off one and leaving the other one on 1 wound there. Over here, the Defiler fired his battle cannon up into the air and knocked out the Storm Talon there, sending it crashing to the ground there. So that was pretty much it for shooting. Khan fired his plasma pistol as well. Primaris didn't do anything there. So we're going to move on to assault now, and hopefully it will be bloody and Khorne will be very happy. Turn 4 assault for the World Eaters, and both Khan and the Warpsmith charged into combat against these Templars. Well, cut them apart, didn't do as much damage as we were expecting, but definitely did a lot of nastiness to this squad here. So there's only 3 remaining. Both Khan and the Warpsmith got away with not suffering any wounds at all. Here, Grimoldus finished off his challenge with the Biker Champion and knocked him to the ground. He's now consolidated up to try and challenge Khan to take away damage from his battle brothers. So we're going to move on to turn 5 now for the Templars to see what they can do. Turn 5 movement for the Templars, and the Templars have strategically withdrawn from engaging Khan and the Warpsmith here. They've all fallen back. Grimoldus is now standing in front of them like a mother duck in front of her ducklings, protecting them from the wolf. Khan the betrayer is creeping ever closer to the remaining Templars. So both the last remaining Plasma Marine and the 3 Crusaders are now behind Grimoldus. The Storm Talon has gone into hover mode, also to put some fire in, and the Land Raiders just reversed slightly as well. So There is a lot of fear in the air. The fear is fueling Khan, and Khan hopefully will survive the barrage of fire that's going to be coming in momentarily. So let's move on to turn 5 shooting to see if the betrayer still stands. Turn 5 shooting, and the Storm Talon did it. It fired everything it had into Khan, bringing him down momentarily, but for now he is out of this conflict. He's licking his wounds. He'll be back. Also, they fired a lot of stuff here into the Warpsmith. The Land Raider fired everything it had in there. We had Grimoldus as well as the Primaris Hellblaster, who overcharged and killed himself. So we're going to move on to Assault for turn 5 to see if these 4 can hold off a Warpsmith. Turn 5 Assault, and the Warpsmith is fallen. He's gone. Grimoldus charged in. The Warpsmith was able to deal 1 wound through Overwatch to Grimoldus, but his Crozius just knocked out the Warpsmith and caved in his skull. So we're going to move on to turn 5 now for the World Eaters to see if they can deal with the remaining Templar forces. Alright, turn 5 movement now for the World Eaters, and they are all pushing forward. The squad of Beserkers are moving up to Grimoldus, who's been slightly wounded by the Warpsmith, probably a little bit dazed. And these 3 Berserkers are opportunists. They're going to try and take his skull. These bikers have roared through the ruins here, joined by their biker lord, and the Defiler there stumbling forward, still regenerating. And he's possibly going to put some shots into the hovering Talon there. So let's move on to turn 5 shooting to see if the World Eaters can kill off the remaining Templars. Turn 5 shooting for the World Eaters. Not much happened really. These bikers here fired bolt shells into the squad here, killing off 1 of the Templars, leaving the remaining 2 there, wondering where the assault's going to come from. Berserkers there fired into Grimoldus, hit, wounded, but luckily he was able to save with his anointed armour. And over there, Defiler fired into the Flyer here, and did nothing. So this thing's going to be pretty much untouched by the end of the conflict, I'm thinking. So we're going to move on to Assault and see if we can deal with these guys in combat. Right, so turn 5 Assault for the World Eaters. Both bikers here, as well as the biker lord, charged into the 2 marines there, and yeah, as predicted with the lightning claws, and the lord ripped those guys apart. Although over here, the Berserkers have actually got an extra round of combat, I just remembered.
So they do.
Yeah, we do. So let's roll that on camera actually quickly. So they have got 3 attacks each of the basic guys. So can I have 3 dice please? We are hitting on 3s. And we've got an extra one here. So we've got 5 hits there and 1 miss. We have strength 5. Toughness 4, so we need 3 to wound. Oh, 5 wounds. Now Grimoldus is only on 1 wound. So we've got these attacks first with the chain swords, and then we'll do lightning claws if he survives. Now he's fallen. Grimoldus has fallen there, so that's changed the outcome there. Probably changed the game in a lot of ways as well, with Grimoldus now falling. So, as I said there, Grimoldus is gone. Those Marines have gone. The Chaos managed to leave that untouched. We're going to see if the game continues. So on a 4 up, Tom, do you want to roll? It carries on. So turn 6 now for the Black Templars. Right, so turn 6 movement now for the Templars. The Land Raiders just slightly relocated there, possibly get a better firing angle, also to avoid any more incoming fire. As for the Storm Talon, it is sitting pretty where it is, so it's going to remain there and just fire a salvo of fire into the World Eater forces. So let's move on now into turn 6 shooting for the Black Templars. Turn 6 shooting for the Black Templars. And the Land Raider here fired its shots. It fired bolters into the Berserkers. It didn't do anything to them, luckily for the Berserkers. The Assault Cannon also fired into the Lord, taking 2 wounds off of him. The Storm Talon fired its las cannons into the Lord and the Assault Cannons into the Berserkers, but the las cannon didn't do anything. And the Berserkers were killed off by the Assault Cannon. So we're going to move on to turn 6 Assault. I believe Tom wants to try and charge in the Land Raider into the Lord. So let's see what happens to that. Turn 6 Assault. Right, so the Lord is gone. Got taken out by the Frag Assault Launcher, doing a mortal wound to him. And also he lost, he took a hit in combat as well. So he's gone, that's not good. Right, we're going to move on to turn 6 Assault for, turn 6 Assault? Turn 6 for the World Eaters to see what they can do about this threat. Turn 6 movement for the World Eaters. Right, the Defilers now pushing up. Definitely within a charge range there if you can push it off in the assault phase. These bikes have gone between both targets. We've got a melter gun as well, so hopefully that will be able to do enough damage to possibly the Storm Talon and then be able to assault here. But we will see. So we're going to move on to turn 6 shooting for the World Eaters and see if they're able to take one of these targets out. Turn 6 for the World Eaters and shooting. Right, the squad here fired in. We used our last reroll on the melter gun, which missed, and it then hit and did 2 wounds to the Storm Talon. It was also hit by the Reaper auto cannon, did another wound, so it's taken it down to 3 now. We're going to move into assault, and hopefully we'll get some charges off here and do a bit more damage in combat. Turn 6 Assault. Defiler charged in, unable to do anything. And likewise with the Land Raider, nothing happened there. Over here, exactly the same. Charged in, wasn't able to hit the Storm Talon, and the Storm Talon wasn't able to do anything back in return. So that is pretty much it now. Tom, do you want to roll to see if the game continues?
No.
No. So game over. We're going to have a quick add up of the scores, and we'll come back with a winner. So, as the bodies are piled up now in the city, not many survivors, unfortunately, and the final score is 11 points to the Black Templars and 11 points for the World Eaters. It is a draw in our first game of 8th edition. It's been a really bloody game. Tom, do you have a man of the match?
Grimoldus.
Grimoldus.
Yeah, I think he pulled it around in a couple of little combats there. Gave the edge on the, especially against the Warpsmith, just knocked him out of the park.
Yeah,
so
yeah, Warpsmith fell.
Right there and then, so,
yeah, not good. For myself, it would possibly be actually probably the squad of Berserkers with the Lightning Claw, because they've basically just hacked their way through the game and made their way all the way over here before finally being shot down by the Templars. So yeah, really fun game, really enjoyed 8th edition, and this is Dom and Tom from Blacktoad Studios. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.